going on, everybody? My name is Andrew Oliva and I love to review movies. If you haven't already, please leave a like down below and hit subscribe. It helps me out so much. Strange World is the newest Disney film by Walt Disney Studios, and it came out in theaters November, about a month ago, and I missed it in theaters. I didn't see it. It's not because I wasn't interested in it. It was just a busy week when this movie came out. We had The Fabelmans. I went to go see that. There were several movies that came out that weekend, and it was Thanksgiving weekend, so my schedule was packed, so I was not able to see this one in theaters, unfortunately. But it came out on Disney Plus today, just in time for Christmas, and I watched it this afternoon, and I can say that I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Now, going into this movie, I've hardly heard any good things about this movie. I've heard reviews that were mediocre to bad, and which is strange. Pun. It's strange because this movie, it's not bad, and it is a pretty generic story, but it falls in line with Atlantis and Treasure Planet, which is one of my favorite Disney movies. And I think this is going to fall in the same category as those moving forward. I think people are not going to appreciate it right now, but maybe moving forward in the future, I think people are going to look back on this film and actually, I think this movie is going to gain a following in the future, just like Treasure Planet and Atlantis did, because those two are really good movies that kind of flopped at the box office. And they're not really well-known movies from Disney, and I do think this is falling in the same category, and I think this is a really underrated movie because I found this movie to be a lot of fun and really enjoyable. And is it the greatest movie of all time? Is it the greatest Disney movie of all time? Is it the best animated movie of the year? No, it's not. But I found this a great movie to just relax and just spend 2 hours watching this movie. It didn't hurt. I didn't hate watching it. I mean, I had a fun time. It was a really cozy time, a really nice time to just turn my brain off and enjoy a new Disney adventure. And I really like, is the plot anything new? No, but I kind of miss these type of adventure movies, like I mentioned earlier, Treasure Planet and Atlantis, and yeah, this is very similar. But also Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser, and then the sequel, Journey to Mysterious Island. This is really reminiscent of those movies, and I really enjoyed that because those two movies are some of my guilty pleasures. I think they're really fun adventure movies, and even though they're not great movies, but they're fun. I miss those type of adventure movies. I miss those type of movies. And this felt like that. It felt like a new one of those adventure into this mysterious place movies that we don't get a lot often anymore. And I really appreciated that from Disney. And I think since this is an animated Disney movie, I think this is going to appeal a lot more to kids. And I can see kids enjoying this movie a lot. I see some parents going into this movie and not getting as much out of it as kids. But I was pleasantly surprised with Strange World, and if you're looking for a movie to watch Christmas, this Christmas holiday, I think Strange World is a perfect movie. If you just want to relax, pop on a movie, relax, spend time with your family, I think this is a perfect movie. And like I said earlier, this is a very generic movie, but it didn't have to be anything new. It didn't have to be anything big. It just had to entertain, and that's what it did for me. I think the characters that are introduced in this movie, the entire Clade family, I think they're all entertaining characters. Their arcs are very generic. Like, I don't want to be like my father, or you don't know what I want to be when I grow up. That's their entire characterization in this movie. That's the entire conflict between the family in this movie. And it's very generic, but I think they handle it the best as they could in this movie. And it has a good message for kids. It's not the most original message, but it's a good message for kids nonetheless. And I think kids will get a lot out of this movie. And I think parents could also too, families watching this. I think this is a good movie for the entire family. And like I said, this is a very underrated movie. I've heard hardly any good things about this movie, or great things about this movie. And it's not a great movie, but I think it is a very solid Disney movie, and it shouldn't be getting the hate that it's been getting. Just because of some of the things in this movie, just because it's a generic movie, I don't think... See, I hate when that's used as a negative. It's a very generic movie. We're in the age of movies now where, yes, there are still original movies being made, but you're bound to get some rehashes of stories that we've seen before, and I don't see that as a bad thing. If the creator or the director of this project does it really well, like does the premise justice, like if it's a well-made movie, then I don't think it deserves to be hated on just because, oh, we've seen that before. I don't think that's a good way to justify that you don't like this movie. Sure, this movie does have some issues, with my biggest issue being the third act of this movie, that I really enjoyed the twist of this movie. I'm not going to spoil it, but there is a twist that we learn about the world that they're in the third act, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good twist, but then the whole conflict kind of resolved itself really quickly, and they didn't really give that big action-packed third act that I was kind of expecting. It kind of felt like another side action sequence that we've been seeing throughout the entire movie, and I wish it would have been a little bit bigger. I wish it had some more emotional impact. All the character arcs do come to a resolution in this third act, but I just wanted a little bit more emotional impact that could have really heightened this movie to the heights it should be. But like I said, I don't care. This is just a really fun movie that I really enjoyed watching. It was a great way to spend 2 hours. I enjoyed it. I just enjoyed it. Like, I really recommend giving this movie a watch. Even if you don't like some of the things you've heard, make that decision for yourself and watch this movie. And another thing, I hated the way that Disney marketed this movie. And by the way they marketed this movie, I mean they didn't market this movie at all. I saw maybe a couple trailers for this movie, and that was it, which is a shame, because Disney felt like just to throw this movie out there, and it didn't feel like they loved this movie at all, and that's disappointing because it's not a bad movie, and this movie deserves some more love. And I hope that this movie gains a following going forward, because I really enjoyed it, and I hope if you watch this, you enjoy it too, like I did. So definitely give it a watch this weekend. If you watched it, let me know. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And guys, as usual, have a great day.